Welcome back to the Coming Out Happy podcast. We're your hosts, Danny and Keely, your LGBTQ plus life coaches. As an LGBTQ plus adult, we know it can be complicated, but here's where we break it all down for you, and you can learn all about becoming your most authentic self so you can create really healthy relationships. Our goal from this podcast is to help you uncover all that makes you who you are and step into that future you. This podcast is your weekly check-in to focus on yourself and start taking actions towards the life and relationships you've always wanted.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you love this episode, make sure you leave a 5-star review or rating. We can't wait to hear from you. Now let's get into it. What's up, everyone? It's Danny and Keely. We are so happy you're tuning in with us today and really just taking some time. It's so important that you do that for yourself. We're going to have an amazing topic for you today, but before we get into it, there's a few things that I want you to know. So if you're not following us on Instagram yet, at Coming Out Happy, make sure you head on over there. That's where you're going to catch us on Mondays. Every single Monday on our lives, we go live at 3 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. EST. So figure out which time zone you're in and make sure you put it on your calendar. We can't wait to see you there. It's all about self-growth, reflection, and really diving into who you are. We have a lot of fun on Mondays. And then every Friday, we're going to post this podcast for you. So make sure you subscribe, download, maybe set a little reminder again for yourself. That way you can really stay in touch and make sure that you are taking that time out of your week for this self-growth and discovery journey that you're currently on. And then if you're really loving the lives, the posts, everything that we do, you can't get enough of this podcast. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to check out our program, Pride Amplified. It's all about stepping into your most authentic self and creating really healthy relationships. Danny and I are here to support and guide you all along the way. And sometimes you just need a little bit of accountability and support to get you there. And that's exactly what we do with you. So thank you so much. We are super excited to get into our episode today. And let's get into it. Calling all fixers in relationships. I gotta talk to you today. Well, not just me. Danny and I both have to talk to you, right, Dan?
We're here. Let's talk.
Oh, let's get into it. Why don't we?
Wait, before we say something, this is our 50th podcast.
Aw, happy 50th. 50th pod. How do we celebrate that?
Well, we're talking about a really great topic, so I guess that's all we can do.
Well, we should celebrate tonight. What do you want to do?
I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Let's get into the show.
We'll let you know what we do. Make sure you stay up to date on our Instagram, at Coming Out Happy. Guess we got to celebrate our 50th episode. We're super excited. Today's going to be a great topic. We really want to talk to specifically fixers in relationships because Danny and I both were fixers and we get you. But something that you'll know from this podcast is that we talk a lot about the different ways that you could be hurting yourself, distracting yourself, or holding yourself back from stepping into your most authentic self. And I believe that being a fixer could be one of the ways that you could be doing that. By distracting yourself with relationships, you're talking to someone that was addicted to love. I was addicted to having someone needing me and for me to fix them. I felt valid. I felt worthy. Specifically speaking, I would hold on to relationships way longer than I needed to because I was just wanting them to just want me, and I was wanting for them to see the change that I could make in their lives.
Totally understand that, Keely, and it makes so much sense. Most of us have been there, and something that was coming to my head when you were saying all of that is that you may have been seeing so much potential in these people, but you weren't really seeing the reality of these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you break that down a little bit more?
Yeah, so you may have been looking at who this person could be because maybe you are someone who sees the best in people, or you're really hopeful that they can change, and all you're looking at is this idealized version of this person instead of who they actually are. And I think that growth is something that definitely happens in relationships, but specifically we're talking about fixing people who don't want to be fixed. Or not even that, it's just like we feel like it's our responsibility to fix other people, when the reality is it's not our responsibility. It's theirs to become the person that they're supposed to be or that they want to be.
Yeah, I think you're so spot on with that, and I think so many people can relate to feeling like you see so much potential in that person that you want to try to be with them, but they maybe are someone that's like very sad and they haven't worked through some of their own things that maybe they need to go through alone, and you're just trying to bring them up and do all of these things so that you can be with them, but in reality it's not your responsibility.
And maybe it can come out in so many different ways of trying to fix the relationship. Maybe something has been weighing on your shoulders that you don't like about the relationship, but they're unwilling to change what they're doing, and you do feel like it's your responsibility. You do feel like you need to be the one to kind of come in and, let's just say, like, fix their own problems. But something to just know is that you're not their parent. You can't be the one to take control of how somebody else does things. It's ultimately up to them whether or not they want to do something differently or not.
Yeah, and it seems like you almost fall into this loop of, continuing to date people that have problems that you're trying to fix. I mean, every person that I felt like I dated before you had some sort of thing that they never worked through, and I was just trying to make them feel better and happier and lighter and all of these things, and at the end of the day it never really helped. It temporarily did, but they would fall back into their same patterns, and then I wouldn't feel valid for not lifting them up or helping them step into the person that they wanted to be. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it in reality, and this sounds really harsh, but I've been there, so I feel like I can kind of say that. I feel like a lot of the time where we're fixing people, it really comes back to wanting to feel validated ourselves, wanting to feel like we're a really good person because we're helping someone through something, lifting them up, maybe because they don't see it within themselves. But really, it's only coming from our own need for validation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't feel valid in myself at all, and so that's why I feel I was trying to do it for somebody else. I was trying to do it all so that I could feel that, because I think even when you're a people pleaser and you don't value who you are, and you feel like you need to do for everybody else, you feel like even one person telling you how great you are, that makes a world of difference, and you thrive off that.
And that's what you're looking for really in fixing someone or in getting that validation, is you really want to make that other person happy. You want to make sure that they feel really, really good. So you feel like all of this is on your shoulders, and it can lead to so many issues on your own end for your own self-worth if you don't make them happier, if they don't end up changing. It's too much to take on, and it's ruined all of our relationships in the past,
Yeah, mine definitely didn't work out because of that.
Yeah, but the truth is, every single person has things that they need to be working on, but it's not your responsibility, no matter how much you love somebody, to change them.
Yeah. Can you remember specifically in your relationships, like, what that actually looked like?
Yeah, so there's so many different examples. I think one of them, I wanted my girlfriend at the time to be more determined. I wanted her to really be successful in a way that I was driven, and I wanted to see that in somebody else, and I didn't find that. And I was encouraging her to just really try and really put herself out there and try to make the most of creating a career that she really wanted to be into, but she just wasn't into that. That wasn't her thing. And it wasn't, I don't know why I was making it like it was my responsibility to make that a part of her life if that wasn't her dream too. So fixing certain things in somebody, whether it's emotionally or with their outer world, it's not okay to be trying to fix people, because this is who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I appreciate you being so vulnerable and sharing that, because I can relate so much. The person that I was dating, I was trying to really make sure they were also successful in my eyes of what that was, and, doing all the things that they need to do. I even remember this was a relationship I had in college, and I was trying to do their homework, and I was trying to help them, complete things on time, and all of this similar to what you were talking about, just wanting them to be so successful and to be okay when they didn't care. And you can't fix someone that doesn't care. You can't make someone care. That's probably the worst thing that you could do, is try to force them to care about what they're doing. And it just didn't work.
What's more of like an emotional kind of fixing? Like picking them up when when they're pretty like down, or making sure that they're okay, making sure that their happiness is your responsibility. What do you think that's
Well,
an
I
example
think it's okay to lift someone up when they're down, of course, but if it's a constant thing and that's your job, that can be hard. I mean, let me think about it. In my relationships, it was definitely an emotional needing each other. We felt like we needed each other, and then you get into a fight, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be with you, and then feeling like we have to be together. Like, all of that. I feel like that's us trying to fix each other, whether it was more on my side or more on their side. It was that back and forth of needing each other and wanting to figure out how to validate each other always. Yeah. And that's just, validation comes from within, not from your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of people think that you can heal yourself in relationships. That's a big thing that we kind of go up against, is that I believe that everything that you have inside of you is already there. You don't need anyone else to complete you. Of course, I think that you can come together with a partner and you can grow and you can learn new things, but by no means do I think another person can complete you as a whole person. Absolutely not. Like, that is so against everything that we teach. It's all about you understanding and having the awareness to set boundaries and respect yourself and connect to who you are, and then come together, because I can say Danny's made me better in a lot of ways, and we've helped each other grow, but she doesn't complete me by any means.
Mm-hmm. But also, we weren't here to fix each other.
Yeah.
You doing whatever work you were doing on yourself came from you. I couldn't force you to do anything. Yeah. We see a lot of this with the people that we work with in our programs. They're coming to us with things that are going on in their relationship that they're unsure if the other person is going to do, no matter how hard they try to push doing something, and they're trying to take care of them, trying to make them do certain things, and they see at the end of the day that person is not going to change unless they're willing to change. And I think it's just something to wrap your head around. If you feel like you're always the one fixing people, always the caretaker in your relationships, I want you to also take a look at how much it could be hurting you. Because healthy relationships are not about fixing other people. And we've learned this from being in our own experiences. And I don't want to see any of you go through this as much as we did, because really it only hurts us at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that. I hope that from this, maybe you could listen to some of the stories and you could pick up some of the signs and maybe see if it's happening in your own relationships. It could happen in friendships too. This doesn't just have to be romantic. And just really understanding that Danny and I speak from a place of our experience. We speak from a place of truth. We have core beliefs of why we believe and do what we do. And, some may not align with you, and that's totally okay. I think that what makes, people coming together in great discussions is the differences in what we believe. And so I hope that you were able to take something from this and just really focus on how it's showing up in your relationships. If you have questions, if you had something pop up for you, if you feel like you've always been a fixer and you want to change that, send us a message on Instagram @ComingOutHappy, and we can chat a little bit more about how we can support you and really dive into that. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to this 50th podcast that we've done, I can't even pronounce it right. If you're still listening to this, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review or a rating if you loved it on Apple Podcasts. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. Thank you so much for celebrating 50 episodes with us. This is so beautiful. We love this community so much, and we're so proud of you for how far you've come and just for going on this self-discovery journey. You definitely wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you weren't working on yourself. So we're so glad that you're here, and we'll see you on the next episode.